request, the Cabinet Secretary ought to inform the National Assembly and at large now the public, because they are the public representatives, why we are deploying or why we think the situation is dire and we need reinforcement and deployment of Kenya Defence Forces. And he also informs the public through the National Assembly when that deployment is needed and where. If those three things or those three elements are not there, then it is vague and we are opening the floodgates of a police state.
Yes, and we spoke about the time frame as well. It is not clear for how long.
It is actually not clear because the way it is right now, we actually don't know for how long. The Gazette notice does not speak for how long. It does not speak for a specific part of our country that that deployment is going to happen, and it equally does not say why. And therefore, we are all left to assume and to guess and make guesswork. But remember, security apparatus cannot work with guesswork. If you want to slide into anarchy very fast, try uncertainty with security forces. Because if they don't have a proper command, there are all reasons and all possibilities of sliding into anarchy. So these are some of the things that the government and largely the executive needs to know, that when we are dealing with such an issue, it is good and it is proper advice that they deal with it in a more restrained manner. They need to consult. I don't know where the Honorable Attorney General was in this particular case, because he ought to have advised the President, he ought to have advised the National Security Council, and he also ought to have advised the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, so that such a scenario does not happen, where we are left to guess. The leadership of the defense forces, they are left to just come on the streets, on whatever street you can imagine. They are not even elected legally. Yeah, let's talk about the conflicting of roles and the rules that the military then, if at all, this petition, you know, is in favor, rather, or the LSK doesn't have its day, and the KDF is in fact deployed in terms of it assisting the National Police Service. In terms of, you know, the rules that they must adhere to, we're talking about conflicting of roles and what the police can do and what the military cannot do. We're talking about, for instance, arrests. If a military officer arrests a civilian, should they then hand them over to the police? How then to avoid a situation where there will be conflicting roles, and whether they have a set of rules that they, or guidelines that they, you know, now will be, you know, called upon to adhere to if they are in fact deployed? Those are some of the issues that the Cabinet Secretary did not address himself to, because he never asked himself, when I said the troops, or when we deploy the troops to the streets, who is going to take charge? Is it the National Police? Is it the Defense Forces? And because the Kenya Defense Forces do not have holding cells, they do not have police stations. I mean, they do not have stations where they can keep civilians. They cannot prosecute civilians. So are they going to make arrests? And when they arrest, are they going to take people to prison? Where are they going to take people to? Are they going to take them to court tomorrow? Are they going to take them to police stations or hand them over to the National Police Service? So these are some of the questions that ought to have been answered. And the reason we are in this quagmire, and I will say maybe in the upcoming time, is lack of consultation, and I think, for lack of a better word, lack of competence. Because that